Have you ever wondered how much wealth you can accumulate from pennies? It may seem like an odd question, considering that pennies are often viewed as the least valuable pieces of currency, sometimes even discarded as insignificant or worthless. Yet, there's a hidden power in these humble copper coins. You see, the value of a penny isn't just in its face value, but in its potential. You might think, what can I do with just a penny? However, it's not about what you can do with a single penny, but what you can achieve with many of them, consistently saved and invested over time. This is where the magic happens. Small amounts like pennies can compound over time, growing from a tiny seed into a strong, towering tree. This concept, known as compound interest, is one of the most powerful financial tools available. Believe it or not, those little copper coins can turn into a mountain of wealth. The secret to accumulating wealth from pennies lies in a concept known as compound interest. Now, if you've never heard of this before, don't worry. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Let's start by breaking it down. Compound interest is essentially the interest you earn on both your initial money, that's your principal, and on the interest that money accumulates. It's interest on interest, if you will. Now, let's imagine you decide to save a penny a day. Doesn't sound like a lot, right? But here's where the magic of compound interest comes into play. Say you've saved up $1 after 100 days. You invest this dollar at an interest rate of 5% per annum, compounded annually. After 1 year, you don't just earn 5 cents on your initial dollar. You earn interest on the dollar plus the 5 cents you've gained. That's the power of compound interest. But here's the real kicker. The effect of compound interest doesn't just kick in after a year. It continues to work its magic year after year, growing your wealth exponentially over time. That's because each year, you're not just earning interest on your initial investment. You're earning interest on all the interest you've accumulated in the previous years as well. So what does this mean for our penny-a-day saving strategy? Well, even if you're only able to save a small amount each day, as long as you're consistent and give your savings time to grow, the effect of compound interest can turn these pennies into a substantial sum. And that's essentially it. Sure, there are more complexities to it, more factors to consider, but at its core, compound interest is a powerful tool that can help you build wealth from even the smallest amounts. So, the magic formula is simple. Save consistently and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Now, let's put this theory into practice with a fun experiment called the Penny Challenge. A simple yet powerful way to understand the importance of saving and how small amounts can accumulate into a significant sum. The idea behind the Penny Challenge is straightforward. You save a penny on the first day, 2 pennies on the second day, and so on. You continue this pattern every day for an entire year. Imagine it. Day 1, you pop a penny into a jar. Day 2, it's 2 pennies. By the end of the first week, you've amassed a grand total of 28 cents. Not exactly a fortune, right? But don't be put off. This is just the beginning. As you progress, the amount you save each day grows. By day 100, you're saving $1. And by day 200, you're setting aside $2. As you near the end of the year, it's $3.65 on the last day. Now you might be wondering, how much can I really save with this method? How significant can this penny challenge truly be? Well, let's do the math. If you follow this plan diligently, by the end of the year, you'll have saved a remarkable $667.95. That's right, over $600 from just pennies. And remember, this is just 1 year. Imagine if you continue this practice year after year. The amount you save will multiply, and before you know it, you've created a small nest egg. What's more, you can take this concept beyond pennies. You could do the same with nickels, dimes, quarters, or even dollars. The idea is to start small and grow your savings incrementally. So, try the Penny Challenge. It's not just about saving money. It's about cultivating a habit of saving, learning to value every penny, and understanding the power of consistent incremental growth. You see, even with just pennies, the amount you save can add up quickly. But how do we turn these pennies into dollars and these dollars into wealth? Well, there's no magic trick, no secret formula, just a smart approach and a little bit of patience. You see, the pennies you've been saving, they're more than just small change. They're potential. They're the seeds of your growing wealth. But for them to grow, they need the right environment. That environment is investment. Investment is essentially putting your money to work for you. Instead of letting your pennies sit idle in a jar or a bank account, you put them into assets. Assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate. These assets have the potential to provide a return on your investment, helping your wealth grow over time. Let's break it down. Stocks, for example, represent a share in a company. When you buy a stock, you're buying a piece of that company. As the company grows and profits, so does the value of your stock. This growth in value is your return. Bonds, on the other hand, are a bit like a loan. When you buy a bond, you're lending your money to a company or a government. In return, they agree to pay you interest over a certain period and return the principal amount at the end of that period. This interest is your return. Real estate investment can be a little more complex, but it can also be quite rewarding. You could buy a property and rent it out, earning income from the rent. Or you could buy a property with the intention of selling it at a higher price in the future. The income from rent or the profit from selling the property is your return. Now, it's important to note that all investment comes with risk. The value of stocks can go down as well as up. Bonds can default, property prices can fluctuate. But with careful planning and diversification, that's spreading your investments across different types of assets, you can manage these risks and increase your chances of success. And remember, investing isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long-term strategy. It's about consistency and patience. It's about regularly investing your savings, no matter how small, and letting the power of compound interest do its work. It's about resisting the urge to cash in at the first sign of profit and instead letting your wealth grow. So, start with pennies. Save them, then invest them. Turn them into dollars, then turn those dollars into more dollars. And before you know it, you've turned pennies into wealth. Remember, the key is consistency and patience. Building wealth from pennies isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a test of patience. Let's talk about patience. It's a virtue, as they say. But when it comes to wealth accumulation, it's not just a virtue, it's a necessity. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, you care for it, and what happens? It doesn't sprout overnight, it takes time. It grows slowly, steadily. That's exactly how wealth accumulation works. Sure, there are stories of people winning the lottery or striking it rich on a lucky investment. But these are the exceptions, not the rule. For the vast majority of us, wealth is built slowly, over time. It's a product of consistent effort, wise decisions, and yes, patience. Think about our previous discussions on pennies, compound interest, and the penny challenge. All of these concepts revolve around the idea of small, consistent contributions over a long period of time. It's not about making a quick buck. It's about playing the long game. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means you need to be patient. It means you need to resist the urge to seek instant gratification. It means you need to embrace the power of slow and steady growth, investing your pennies, waiting for compound interest to work its magic, taking on the penny challenge. These are not actions that will make you a millionaire overnight, but over time, these small steps can lead to big results. Patience is not just about waiting, though. It's about having the discipline to stick to your plan even when it seems like nothing is happening. It's about understanding that wealth accumulation is a process, not an event. So don't be discouraged if your pennies don't turn into dollars overnight. Don't be disappointed if your wealth doesn't grow as quickly as you'd like. Remember, building wealth is like growing a tree. It takes time, care, and patience. So when it comes to building wealth, remember, slow and steady wins the race. So, are you ready to see the potential of pennies? Let's dive into some real-life success stories of people who started from pennies and have since amassed considerable wealth. Their journeys are a testament to the power of small savings and compound interest over time. Consider the story of Osceola McCarty. She was a washerwoman from Mississippi who, despite her meager earnings, managed to save every penny she could. Over the years, her savings grew, little by little, and by the time she was in her 90s, she had amassed a fortune of about $150,000. And what did she do with that money? She donated the majority of it to provide scholarships for students in need. Then, there's the story of Ronald Reed, a janitor and gas station attendant from Vermont. Despite working in low-wage jobs all his life, Reed was a diligent saver and a prudent investor. When he passed away at the age of 92, he left behind an estate worth an astonishing $8 million. Much of his fortune was donated to his local library and hospital. And let's not forget the story of Grace Groner, a secretary for Abbott Laboratories. She lived a frugal life and invested in her company's stock. When she passed away at the age of 100, she left a surprising $7 million to her alma mater, Lake Forest College. What do all these stories have in common? It's not a lottery win or a sudden windfall. It's the power of saving consistently, no matter how small the amount, and letting compound interest work its magic. It's about understanding that wealth is not about how much you earn, but how much you keep and grow. As you can see, pennies might be small, but their potential is enormous. To sum up, building wealth from pennies is all about understanding the power of compound interest, consistency, and patience. It's about recognizing that even the smallest coin in your pocket has the potential to grow into a significant sum. It's about realizing that wealth isn't built overnight, but rather it's a product of steady, disciplined saving and investing over time. Let's take a moment to revisit the key points we've discussed today. We started by exploring the power of pennies. We learned that pennies might seem insignificant on their own, but when collected and saved consistently, they can add up to a substantial amount. It's a simple concept, but one that's often overlooked. Each penny saved is one step closer to your financial goals. Next, we delved into the concept of compound interest. We discovered how your money can grow exponentially over time when the interest you earn is reinvested. This is why it's so important to start saving and investing as early as possible. The sooner you start, the more time your money has to grow. Remember, compound interest is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small but gains momentum and size as it continues its journey. We then introduced the Penny Challenge, a practical and fun way to start saving. The challenge is all about saving an increasing number of pennies each day for a year. On the first day, you save 1 penny. On the second day, 2 pennies. By the end of the year, you would have saved almost $670, and that's just from pennies. After that, we discussed the journey from pennies to dollars and dollars to wealth. We highlighted the importance of taking your accumulated savings and investing them wisely. Whether it's in stocks, bonds, real estate, or a business venture, the goal is to make your money work for you. We also emphasize the power of patience. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about making consistent, wise financial decisions over the long haul. It's about resisting the temptation for instant gratification and instead focusing on your long-term financial health. Finally, we looked at the potential of pennies. We considered how a simple mindset shift from viewing pennies as worthless to seeing them as valuable can have a profound impact on your financial journey. So, whether you're just starting out on your financial journey or you're looking to level up your savings and investing game, remember this: no amount is too small to save. No step is too insignificant to take. Every penny counts. So next time you find a penny, remember, it's not just a penny. It's a stepping stone to your future wealth.